Here we are at the Vanilla Bean. We are ending our Confluence, which is going on for 3 days now. And here we wanted to share some of these ideas with the public. So we're putting together this catered dinner, this beautiful food, for anybody that wants to come and join in on the conversation with the people who have been involved in our Confluence for the last 3 days. So this is a little bit wiggly. There's a little bit of chaos, but I'm going to try to bring everybody to order and instruct them on how to eat and stuff like that. But I'm just going to leave this live feed on, and we're going to join somebody's conversation at some table. So I hope you enjoy it. The food is ready. So what we'd like to do is have everybody cafe style. Just go down. I think you know how to do this. You've probably done meals before, right? And then what I'd like us to do is just distribute ourselves wherever feels comfortable. I want to make sure that there's at least 2 people from the Confluence at each table. And other than that, there's really no rules.
Would you say, Tim, would you say that?
2 people per, 2 people from the Confluence at each table.
Oh, okay, I hear you. All right.
So, for those of you who are just wandered off the street like Terry, for instance, we've been meeting together for 3 days of intense and fabulous interaction and art expression and drama, and we were going to be part of a national disaster in the park tomorrow, but that's not going to happen. Yeah. But we are just full of energy, and we've just been buzzing and talking about how can an individual meet the world crises that we are facing right now. You know, not only COVID, but climate change and the demise of democracy. And one thing that I worry about, which is how human values are being overtaken by mechanical values, like we see in the rise of AI and modern technology in general. All of these things are things that make me feel like every one of us is one person against the world. You know, how do you, a single individual, deal with climate change? You want to try to save the planet. You know, oh, here's my recycling. You know, like that's a big deal. But I want to remind us that as we expressed in the play last night, there's this Jewish mystical concept of tikkun olam, which means repairing the world. Somebody was saying very profound. And I'll repeat this beautiful story. It comes from ancient Jewish tradition.
Repairing the world.
Yeah. And this comes from a story that before creation there was light. And this God was coming down the stairs and tripped or something. And the light was shattered into 1,000,000 pieces. And a little shard of that light is lodged in each person and each creature, and each event, each object in the universe. And our job as human beings is not to try to put the whole thing together. Our job is to, as we go through our day, look for the little shard of light in every interaction, in every person, in every creature, and try to lift that up. And if all of us are doing that, we are going to rebuild the world. So there is a way that we can get together. The Confluence has been focused on one question, which is, what is it that wants to be born from within you. And there's something in each one of us that, is tugging at us year after year. Something wants to be born. And we're trying to concentrate on what that is, because every one of us is a creative treasure. God created the universe, and God gave us this wonderful God-like capacity to create something out of nothing. And nothing else in the universe that we know of has that capacity. The dolphins are really cute and they're smart, but they can't create something out of nothing. So we have not only this really great gift, but a responsibility. And so, as the Gospel of Thomas says, there's this beautiful line. Jesus says, if you birth what is inside of you, what is inside of you will save you. If you do not birth what is inside of you, what is inside of you will kill you. So, we see that we not only have this capacity, but there's also a stick. I think of a guy like Putin, who is trying to birth something inside of him. It's not working, and it's killing him, and it's killing millions, thousands of other people. So there's a danger in not birthing what is inside of him. So that's what we've been concentrating on this weekend. And the purpose of this conversation is to help share those ideas. So the people from the Confluence can talk about what we've done, and the people who have not participated in the events can tell us, what are your ideas, and what's being born inside you. So this is a very informal conversation, but it's our chance to cross-pollinate. And the hope is we're going to close this thing up tonight, and these people are going to go back to their places around the country and carry these little shards with them. And hopefully, some of those little shards of light will spark some kind of fire in various places around the country. And our intention right now is every year we're going to do this in a different place. Next year it'll be in Santa Cruz, California.
Oh.
The year after that, it's going to be in Maryland. And it could be that the year after that, it's in Japan. But part of the intention of this get-together is that the institutions are not going to do it. Governments and the churches and the universities and the collectives, as wonderful as they are, as helpful as they are for keeping our lives together, they are not going to transform culture. It's individual human beings that are going to come up with some beautiful idea, And I'm worried about the survival of the species. I mean, it seems like we're really not taking climate change seriously. And I worry about other things too, like, the virus is going to be with us forever. It will keep evolving, and it's faster than our medicine is. And so, how are we going to deal with that? Things like that. If the human species survives, it will be because we have
evolved. Yes.
We have evolved. And what that comes from is unfolding the treasure that is inside of us.
Yeah.
And Colleen has been doing this for, what, 3 years?
Hard. But it's one person at a time.
Yeah, one at a time. And I want to, for those of you who are not familiar, I want to point out the 6 organizers of this event. Colleen is fabulous ceramics and there you go. And she's a wonderful teacher. She has inspired I don't know how many hundreds of people, and we are so honored to have you in our midst. John Jackson is a psychologist. Psychiatrist. Oh yeah. Colleen is from out to Santa Cruz. Tim Holmes from Sebastopol, California. And he found this wonderful woman, Sherry Lovell, who, you know, she was such a wonderful person, he decided he's going to marry her. Sherry is an artist and a poet and a fabulous calligrapher from Santa Rosa, California. Bob, who is Bob. Bob is a psychologist from Maryland who has been every day, helping people put their lives back together. And wrote this fabulous book, Arsenova. And Skip Conover, who is in the purple shirt, the color of unification.
Yes, this is my fashion statement.
He is a retired Marine and an entrepreneur, a lot of businesses in the eastern part of the world. And he also started a Carl Jung reading group YouTube channel that has, 14,000 subscribers? 17,000, and that's how I met him a few years ago. And he and I got together, and that's kind of how this whole thing came together. So it's, it's a fabulous story, and it's ongoing. So we are going to keep working on things. So that's kind of a long advertisement. I'm sorry about that. But
We, with Ray's help, we would like to introduce another idea. We would like to support a nice big statue of the water bearer right over there.
Wow.
With the new change. And we'll need your support, but I'm excited about it because it'll be a wonderful Tim Holmes statue of the water bearer for people to come and see, to keep the area alive. We've got the theater, we've got Susie's big mural coming. The street's gonna be rearranged.
See, Tim, they cornered me about this and said they wanted it on this corner, and I says, well, what do you know, Willows? I'm meeting with the city, and we're expanding the corner out about 60 feet so we can put a safety crossing, and we have this big area that would be right there where your statue would be. Right? So you guys look out this window, and if you look at that corner and add 60 feet, there's going to be this concrete area that statue, I don't know how big you can make it. And Susan, tell them about the community and your mural that's going to be right next to it. No, seriously, it's important because this is going to be an entryway, and Tim's statue is going to be the spark of this area. You need Skip, tell them about why it will draw people here. Because
Right. Okay, well, Carl Jung had a famous dream called the Liverpool Dream. And it's all over his collected works. But he never went to Liverpool. But the city of Liverpool built a giant bust of Carl Jung on a pedestal, and that has become a pilgrimage site for young lovers from all over the world. And so our point, Bob's point, my point, Tim's point, is that the water bearer statue represents the new age, the Aquarian age, which is now upon us. And if you build it, astrologers from all over the world will come here. Have the picture taken next to it. If you build it, they will come.
Could you make it listen to water? Could it be a fountain?
Well, I could, I'll bet.
Could have a fountain around.
this is kind of the first time I'm doing this, so.
We'll give you till 8 o'clock tomorrow morning to present design.
You better get sculpting, Tim. Better get sculpting.
So thank you for joining us. We're gonna go ahead and get our food. Just find a place And maybe I'll be the Confluence police and make sure that we have somebody at each table that represents our group. So dive in, you know, give us your ideas. Let's have a really cool conversation. And we've got to quit because we got to quit in time for our closing at 8:30 at my studio. So we've got what? Almost a couple hours.
Well, I did a lot of work in California.
Did you go to the presentation today at Renewal?
Yeah.
Could you tell me about it? I had to sleep.
I know. You were a couple hours ahead of me.
I went to sleep, well, we stayed up late and then I actually woke up around 7 before I could get up and I was just wrecked. So
I
I
did it.
had to miss it.
I did.
You were a star of the show last night?
I was not the star, he was the star.
You were both the stars?
Well, I was.
Susie called me and said, this was amazing.
It really was.
Did you meet the two little ladies that were the baby?
Oh yeah, the people in the office there? Yeah,
They're from like 3 years ago, and that was just concrete. We want to make the speed. They have no money. They need to get out to I want to get Was it fun to be up there?
It really was. It was. It wasn't overwhelming. We did one dress rehearsal
When did you do that?
Saturday.
Wow.
And most of the play was done on Zoom, online.
Did you learn the lines on Zoom or did you?
Well, we had no, I had to study the lines myself, but we practiced on Zoom, and this was something that Tim was really worried about. Can you pull off a play on Zoom? And it was like, well, we got to do it. We met twice in person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard through the band when
No. We just met him here.
Last year, Reese was sitting over there. She runs this philosophy think tank. Susie and I helped her do a fundraiser, which she didn't know. We're going to have it at our lake house, and it's going to be big. We didn't have any rain all summer, and that was a storm. So we called Melissa and said, can we come over here? And we had, and all the stables. Everyone brought his brother. His brother really was, they were all, 4 guys, all very talented stars. But his brother was a genius. Everybody's brother, he's an absolute. And they were so creative. I mean, they would walk into town, pull out a newspaper, and pick out 20 things to make fun of town and everything in the newspaper. So we set them up right here, and we had the other 3. But the other guys are now 70, and they're friends, and they were here like 3 hours early. And Bob Fitzgerald, who used to sell Tim's sculptures, that's what Tim was. He was sitting and he said, "Man, I'm so scared." And I said, "Why are you scared?" I've only played for 10 years. He said, "Rusty, we don't think we can remember the lines anymore." So they had all these little written things on the stage to help them remember the lines. But they were amazing. It was such a fun.
Tim is an amazing talent person. We're just learning more and more about him. He was an incredible director. We could not have done the playground.
Has he ever directed a play before?
He has. And he has been in plays that were directed by brilliant directors.
Well, they used to do brilliant things, but they would make them up. They had like a base of 4 things that they incorporated, and everything else was brand new from the newspaper when they got to that.
Wow.
There was a fairly well-known group back in the 80s and 90s in DC called the Capitol Steps.
I saw them. They were a lot like the Capitol Steps. In fact, I'm sure Tim will know them and compare them.
Yeah.
I forget what they sang, but I remember.
Public radio liked them a lot because it was satire to songs we know. So they'd make up different verses and you would know the song, but the words would be contemporary and would reflect political issues.
The sad thing about Tim's group, they made fun of politicians. And they did both sides, but they were all very strong Democrats. But they would make fun of the Democrats. It's just sad they weren't playing them down for making it so much fun.
I'm excited, Greg. This is going to give Tim a real focus because he has thrown his heart and soul into the Confluence. I mean, he's organized it, the details. Susie has been incredible.
She's been amazing. If we didn't have Susie,
Yeah.
I have no idea where we'd be.
We recognized that last summer. Maurice and Tim and I were drinking wine in our hot tub. And Tim was getting this vision of this. We committed to whatever the sponsor required. But Tim said, Maurice and some else. That's Susie was, she probably didn't tell me. She was a marketing and political director for Golden Trucks. She was the only senior VP for Golden Trucks.
Wow. Yeah, it was sort of like something would come up and like Susie would do it. And something else would come up and Susie, you know, all the things we don't want to do. Or can't do. Susie always did.
Well, you guys had those Zoom calls all winter, and she was dialing in.
Yep.
Planning all.
Yep.
And then it was great that you came along. I mean, that was a little late along, and it was like, all right, we're bringing in this guy Bob, and it was like, all right, and then we trust Skip. And so.
And how do you guys know? How do you know each other? They score them.
I just.
We just met.
Yeah.
How do you know Tim?
Tim has followed too. What happened was I wrote my book. Skip picked up on it through somebody we both know, called me up, talked to me, featured me on one of his sessions.
And I'm halfway, well, the beginning of it. But
You made copies of your book?
I'm sorry?
You have copies of your book with you?
yes.
I'm down to 2.
Will I get one of them?
All right. You'll get one.
It'll be when we have the big party. So my vision is once it's growing, I think it's going to be a 20-foot scholarship.
Easily.
On this corner, we're going to close off the whole thing. We're going to bring it down. We're going to have a huge party celebrating and this whole thing.
You own this place, right?
And the one across the street.
Oh, you own the theater as well?
Well, I only own there. In fairness, and I'm not saying this is correct, but we're donating to them out. Anyone who rents, all my son runs them and he's nationally involved. He's all kinds of meetings. So all those nonprofits are paying for it. So when I bought the building at auction, all those buildings, I came up with that idea of making a nonprofit center. And all these said, you're in there for about half the year. But after 25 years, then I'm going to. And the idea is that I'm going to build up this area. The building's going to be 4 times what I paid for it. You know how that works?
Yes, I do.
As we get older, we might not ever do it. Anyways, so there's a bunch of them. The Grand Street Theater, which is the big theater, the whole back end behind the theater is their workshop. It's their house, the theater, they build all the props.
Oh, wow.
So the theater is, you know, you probably didn't have a chance to do it, but you would love it. Now the Grand Street, this is like an old building, the whole it's not only on 7. But all the blocks are built up. They used to have building the Grand Street and they have a break between plays for like 2 weeks. Now they do it here. And the play gets over, the prop show up, and they're ready 2 days later. So they're all big rooms. This was the original. That's how it all came. But I feel bad I didn't really play this. I wanted one more negative goal.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Or David.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. So you had just met Skip.
And that, we clicked. I live on the western, Judy and I live on the western end of the state. He lives in Annapolis. So I went down and I had lunch with him, and Deb and he reciprocated, came out. We went to dinner at one of our favorite places. And we just clicked.
Yeah.
And he read Ars Nova, and he really liked it. It's not an easy read. Some of it's quite easy, some of it's rather challenging. I didn't write it for dummies.
What's it about?
It's about a theoretical consideration about a way to live one's life without being obsessed with the right or wrong, good or bad judgment paradigm as a way to find meaning in your life. I'm a psychologist. I've been doing it for over 45 years. So I wanted to offer to people a viable way to find meaning in their life, but not run it through the judgment paradigm. You've heard this 100 times. Judy's heard it 1,000 times. But it's such a destructive paradigm, but it's all anybody uses. And so I wanted to offer another way to find meaning in one's life consciously, but not an obsession with am I good, am I right, or am I wrong? So that was the offering of Ars Nova, which is Latin for new art. And the subtitle is Understanding the Alchemical Mystery in the Age of Aquarius. Hence the aquarium. And Tim made, you've seen it, a beautiful sculpture for this event. And
How big is this sculpture now?
No, it's not.
small.
So we're gonna make it. We keep growing it. It'll be 500 feet tall.
I don't know how you grow a sculpture, but you'll be able to grow it.
Yes.
Yes, I'm good.
So it's all very exciting because I feel that the Aquarian Imago is a new way to live one's life, if you will. And it involves consciousness of your own unconscious processes. So,
One of the conversations that came up a lot in the statements is how important creativity is in our life and how easy it is to disregard it, and it's so.
well, you live
That's why I keep doing these things.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get bored. So in my board, I'm like,
Go creative.
fine, I'm not an artist. This is a piece of art, so is that.
Yeah.
So I need to fit you in here. So why he's writing books? Tell him about your life.
I still work full time. I'm a
Say that again?
program. I work full time. I'm a program director for an ultrasound program at a college in Northern Virginia,
Oh, wow, which city?
Springfield.
Susie grew up in Chesapeake. You know where that is, right?
I'm the first. Our school's the first exit off the interstate. I'm part of DCCS. We're the second largest community college system in the country.
So you need to have more conversation because Susie was on the board of a very large community college in Greensboro, North Carolina for 15 years before I convinced her to leave Greensboro. So
Good for you, Ray.
Tim wanted us to talk about what you guys, that was what was instructed. So I'm sorry I'm dominating.
Well, I'm very excited about how quickly you've embraced this idea.
We love Tim. And so,
Well,
and you saw
we
how
do
excited
too.
he got when he come over here and we talked about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he grew up in Holland. He's been his whole life. To have this corner with Tim Holmes,
That would be amazing.
he's been in the river. There's not one single thing in Holland.
Wow.
Well, there's that piece at the church.
Yeah. And people like myself, I have four of his sculptures around my house.
Really?
Nobody knows who he is, like they should. So
I agree.
this will,
This would be great. And it's a wonderful.
and this is part of town that a huge art is coming back to life. Most of it is this one. I can't tell you. You come down here, almost any day, it's fun full of life.
Really? Wow.
People just are attracted to it. It's because of the programs. I don't know why else people
Yeah.
and the lady, unfortunately, she's exhausted all the time. I don't know if in your days I gave a Confluence speech for 4 topics. So it's kind of all kinds of people one of them, where I started with is the country is in a huge language. And I said, we're one big help council. And I guarantee you, every year, there's help wanted everywhere. Whether it's construction, truck drivers, hotel,
Foundry workers.
and you know what happened?
Yeah, I do.
And then I seen it coming like 6 years ago. Trump came on board with this making immigration a
Yes.
Every
Yes.
country was made immigration. When he came on board, we were bringing about 2 million people from all over to do jobs. And truthfully, we don't know the kids anymore. I used to speak a lot in the general because when you see immigration, so how many of you eat medicine? So be real honest. How many of you are raising your kids to pick up? No one ever raised them. I said, so we got a real problem. We either quit eating less, or we got to find people to bring in There's no, you can't you're too good to pick less, but you want it anyway. So as we trench back, we used to bring in almost 2 million people a year. So the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, they've been pushing Congress, believe it or not, because they're pretty Republican, to come up with immigration policy. So they did a study, and we had 11.5 million jobs. If we took everyone that was unemployed, with 4.5 million people. This is because 4 years of this border relations stuff. We don't want to take their jobs.
And we're taking our
We're not
jobs.
going to raise 4.5 million kids in the next year. and make them 20 minute one and have other people on. So we have a crisis here. So when they talk about inflation, which everyone wants to be Democrats, I don't belong to the side of criticize both. The truth is, energy and the Ukraine war is a huge problem. It's a labor inflation. You know, I used to have all the contracts and all Home Depot stuff in Montana. This 6 years ago, I sold my company returned to $280. The guy I knew had a contract. 6 years later, I mean, the whole lifetime it took to get to $280. Guess what his rate is? In 6 years, it's more and you know why? Because there's no alternatives to the guys that have it. And there's no competition anymore because when I had it, we always had to cut the contracts. And we found ways to get up. And we were competitive. The Home Depot says, we're taking care of my kids. See, and it's that way. Sheet rockers, every single thing. We don't have enough people to do it. So how do we stem inflation? By putting workers and making it competitive. But when you've got 15 Republican governors going to the border with their national guards popping their chests, it's easy.
Yeah, it's amazing how many levels Trump screwed up. Thank you.
Now let's go back to tell me what you guys
Well,
Creativity.
Creativity. I taught creativity.
She worked real hard.
Oh my God, did I work hard this lab? It was like, I thought I'd sew it in half an hour. Oh my God. I forgot what it's like to teach sewing and I don't know how to sew. Make a book.
Do it that way, step binding, opening book.
Well, first they did the art. I had to teach them how to do the art and then cut out the pages for their book. They did amazing books. And then that's all.
all wound up.
It was not a 2 hour class.
It was not a 2-hour class.
No,
Tim expected, for some reason, I always knew it was a 4-hour class. But for some reason, and Tim would like start booking things again at 10:30, and I thought it was double booking because I would only take 20 people, so it's going to have to be over 20 people. But Tim somehow in the mix forgot that, or whatever, didn't know that my class was a 4-hour class. So then he booked things in at 10:30 and moved Mercy up to 11 because he put her in at 10:30. So my class is still halfway
I
through.
took her there.
Oh, she's still alive. And so I had to cut my class for that. And then your talk, somehow that wasn't in my mix. And
The truth is, it wasn't a 4-hour class.
it was probably my fault. So anyway, we finished.
We did. It was lovely.
So one of Tim's goals, when he wanted me to be a sponsor for this, was he wanted, it was all done, he wanted a way to have however many things that you took away and you have your community.
Yes.
So tell me what we're taking.
We're taking an incredible video. Not only are we going to our communities, but Colleen's son videotaped.
And everybody take two, so we can't really say.
So who's Colleen's son? Well, who's Colleen? Colleen, if you're good with that,
She is a 90-year-old ball of fur who was a sculptor and a wonderful human being.
So keep going on what you're taking away.
So her son has fastidiously recorded everything. The play's been recorded, Sherry's been recorded, John's been recorded, and my work's been recorded. So the whole thing has been recorded. We've got hours and hours and hours. So what's going to happen is Wally's going to edit it down. So we'll have different sections of it. And what that then will be done is we'll put it on YouTube, where Skip will promote it on his website and his 19,000 followers. And we're just going to both take it to our community, but I think more importantly, if you will, market it to this country and the world with regard to our feelings about the creativity required to solve problems of great magnitude.
I love that talk, you were there, but talking about that Japanese village that in Japan, Korean has been there, where it felt that people did the work of them art, there would be no more. And everyone gets to really express themselves and know what they need to do. And I love Tim's quote from the Bible, 31.
St. Thomas, which is not in the Bible.
Right. That's true.
It's still considered.
Yeah, that if you don't live that spark in your heart. Well, if you do live it, it'll save the world. If you don't live it, it'll kill you. And so we're also, as an artist, all this stuff's going on. We have the Ukraine war, we have famine everywhere.
Are you both artists? So tell me what.
I'm a visual artist. I write poetry and I do paintings with my art, and I teach. I teach. My kind of painting is calligraphy and rock making. I'm from a background of Western calligraphy, and I'm starting to do book binding as well. So I'm teaching calligraphy painting and I'm writing poetry. I give poetry talks.
Psychologist, psychiatrist.
I know there's a difference. For us math and econ majors, we don't know the difference.
Yeah, right.
Several groups that we're involved in, all of which seem to have creativity and activism as some of the core. We all want to do something, but I think a lot of times it seems to feel overwhelmed. Like, is it worth it? What difference will it make? I think we're going to bring things back to this country and inspire people.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I was thinking.
I think I can speak fairly for all of us. We'll leave inspired.
Yeah.
We will, and we might try to. There's a local theater we might look into doing the play locally. We have to talk about that still. We've done the hard work. It's like who picked it up still. Yeah.
The sister called me last night. This player doesn't know.
It's on video, so we get to see it.
It was amazing.
That's one of the things that is a problem. So many people there would have liked to couldn't. And so if we want to take that, we want to talk about these things.
Let's put it on his YouTube.
Yes.
Probably
Unless there's copyright.
I
Do
don't
you want to
think
tell me about the program?
Pardon me?
Do you want to tell me about the program and getting John to sign it?
And I don't
Do you remember what you told me about the program? That if they'd had a program, you would have had John sign it.
Yeah, right.
I can't hear you, Bob.
Need a little money.
Yeah.
I know, with the sound, I can't hear what you're saying.
I mean,
Welcome to my world.
The program,
You said to me, it's too bad they didn't have a program. Because if they'd put a program out, you would have gotten John's signature.
oh yeah, okay.
So she runs the philosophy group.
So you want me to tell John that?
You can tell me.
They talked to the actual company about it. So we were sitting there and Tim's trying to give us a vision of this. And he said, I just need some help to organize this.
Yeah.
they're active in a lot of different areas. My specialty is that I've spent 45 years dealing with people who are suffering and struggling and trying to find purpose, trying to find direction. I think I've got materials here that I can take back and work behind the scenes, in the midst of the scenes, to help bring me there.
So the problem is, New Orleans, great, yeah, thank you, that was amazing. The amount of people is growing faster.
Right?
Now we're in like stratosphere because fuel, like everything people buy. So an average family makes by an hour now. Everything's costing $600 a month more than it did 6 months ago. They maybe got 27. So everybody's crunched.
Yeah. No, we were looking at comfortable retirement, and now we're going, well, okay.
There would be more savings, by month.
But we're going to make it work. That's right.
I mean, you're bringing this message back in a real tough way.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think that's when a message like this is as unlikely as it seems, more likely to get traction. Because it isn't the same old message.
He wanted you to tell us about it.
Oh, no, I said if they'd had a program that played was so good, I would have asked for your autograph. It was just, your performance was amazing.
Did you act?
Me, that was my debut.
It was very good. 40 years ago, I acted in college and medical school.
You met the medical?
Yeah. Psychiatry.
I acted in high school.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do it.
It's been that long, but
So how did you guys come together? Who else was in the play this year? Just the three?
Just a three-person show.
So how did you decide the three?
We didn't. Skip drafted us. Skip
Oh,
said you and you were in the play.
told we were in the play.
And I'm saying, but Pauline, we're doing a better job.
And so we embraced it.
It took a while.
So did you meet Mimi? She's Jewish. I was curious how a Jewish woman. She just came to the play. She's friends of her. But she's very Jewish. This is a Jewish play. So I'm curious. Susie didn't tell me what she thought.
I'd like to know.
But we also felt it was about Cargill, Christian nominally, and Beck, famous rabbi, and Beck's complaint that Jung didn't do enough back when he could have done more, he didn't. How do you reconcile these irreconcilable differences? So the play is about reconciliation, but it's not a simple reconciliation given the events. And the play articulates in detail the impediments to the reconciliation between the two. And that is the tension of the play. I think.
Young is silent for all the wrong reasons. But even if he had spoken up, it might have happened.
We might have been killed.
And Matt, who's called into task, he was silent too. He had his own view.
So I'm curious, we all are listening and horror what's happening in Ukraine. We're gone. So when Lucy showed up yesterday, then you all know that it's way worse for the Jews. I mean, 5.7 million of them, it's less than a million people. And none of us know did anyone in the room know what was happening?
No, it was interesting because we were talking about that, like why are we so concerned about Ukraine and not concerned about Ethiopia?
A 100 different places.
Yeah. And thought it was because of the color of the skin. So, you know, we weren't that interested in black culture. She said it was about wealth. It was very interesting. So Ukraine is a wealthier country. So we're not that concerned.
And food. They have food.
They have food,
So
yeah.
real value to Russia.
Yeah.
She has an amazing worldly insight.
Yeah.
And we you know, I had lunch with her today before she flew off to have a couple days. She took 16 credits in 3 weeks of total.
Wow.
She finished the day before she came. But we believe, just like Tim and I think all you guys do, you know, why did this happen? She told me she might have told us Tim would have told her, they spoke at a class. And when I was at a class she was in.
Oh, okay.
She came up to me afterward and she said, Mr. Cruz, I just want you to know you gave me hope. I turned up and said, and I had to leave and said, well, can you go to coffee tomorrow? So I picked her up and on the way down there, when she laid out the story, I called Susan and said, you gotta get her because you gotta do something. So she sat there and I said, you're not going to from today forward, part of our family, we kids and we're going to solve this somehow, somewhere. And the tears was impossible. Nobody's ever going to help me. So when we're like, she's already now 20, 30 some more credits, she's all through. That's it. She'll graduate next time. She wants to, which I believe we'll figure out a way to do. But we talk all the time. I said, how do you meeting me a woman ago? And I don't know how many other people would have been in a position to help. But I said, God has a plan for you. It's a lot bigger than I know or anybody knows. And you gotta trust enough to know that you gotta keep studying and you're gonna find what you're supposed to do. Because we don't know today. I was curious when you listened to it. Because I haven't, to be honest with you, when she said I had no idea that anything was going on in Ethiopia. It was never on any news I listened to. And then from that day on, I started picking up the news bits. And then when I was informed.
Yeah.
Now, I remember decades ago,
At the end of her talk, she said, my story is not sad. She's here, she's alive, she has friends, she has support.
And her family's alive.
So far, she
Well,
may
when
never
we
see her
were over
again.
there, she did not know it.
Yeah.
When we saw it.
With the courage to say that her story was not a sad, I mean, she cried when she said it, but she said her story was not a sad one, which I thought was amazing perspective. And she believes the world. She's trusting. And she realizes that she won't go back. She doesn't have to go back. She's alive and will stay alive.
No, absolutely. She, when we met there, she said, I don't want to file for political asylum because I want to go home. And then as the next 3 weeks came out, and we got an attorney for her, that was her kids either go home or file for it. There was not another option. So then she, like, if you watched her, she came to peace. And then she became happy. She went from, I want to go home, I can't go home, I don't ever go home. Now it's like, how do I get my mom home?
Well, yeah.
And her brother.
Well, her brother's not.
So she has a brother in prison who's like a doctorate in some engineering was teaching at the college. He just came to arrested her. I don't know if she explained it. She's like a half-breed. So there's two nationalities are fighting. She's half a beach, which is not good. And so her brother, they went in and arrested like 9 professors at the college because they were half-breeds and they didn't know which side they were going to go. So they found I was just curious, you know. So when you're looking at what's going on in Ukraine, because I gave a commencement speech a couple of weeks ago in Carolina, really went over well. But I told her, I said, I don't want you to be offended because I'm going to talk about Ukraine. Because they only got X amount of minutes. But you know it's the same story. Everybody knows Ukraine. And then I can use that to get my point across and cheat. But I think deep down inside, I was like, why did you talk about Ethiopia?
I thought it was interesting that she said that the Ethiopians here, because in the DC area, I have colleagues that are from Ethiopia, I have students, that those frictions are carried here.
Yeah, they're still battling.
They're still battling here.
Still hate each other.
Those prejudices or whatever they are.
Yeah, they are prejudices.
Those things go deep.
Don't they?
It's just like when you think about this, and now you guys probably talk about it. But think how deeply I call them the crazy people, but that's not fair. The brainwashed people, the Trump people, that show up and after all this stuff, there's probably only, I'm hoping 10 or 15% of them eyes go open. The rest of them still says whatever. But think, we have now developed this culture of pro-Trumpers that we're going to be there.
They feel, and we live in Trump territory. They feel deeply alienated from what's going on. And you know, one of the things that I really enjoyed was just here, I spoke to last night, there was a conversation about Desmond Tutu's theories of reconciliation that begins with listening and understand listening. And my sense of those disenfranchised people is that they don't feel heard and they're angry about it. And they've embraced a self-righteousness that political parties now become self-righteous. They won't listen to the other side. The other side's anathema. And so I really think that one method is talking, listening, and understanding without trying to superimpose your own agenda. It's very hard to do.
I think we have a very brainwashed group of people that have been brainwashed by Fox News and a couple others channels. I mean, I watched it happen with my dad. He was he was always middle of the road politically, and he watched Fox News every day. And by the end of, by the time Trump was running for president, he was gone. I mean, he bought every single day. And his little farmer neighbors, because this is rural America, elected Trump. They come over coffee, and they're mad. All of a sudden, they're mad. And then they get into the whole religious thing. Trump says whatever the religious, far-right religious people want. And they got brainwashed. And I really believe my dad was totally brainwashed. And I have neighbors in, you've heard of the Villages, that's where Susan Howard is. I mean, you've heard the jokes about how Republican it is. Really, reasonable, nice people are completely brainwashed. You can't have a conversation like this, because we would get some happy. And it's all, and you go to any one of their houses, and you walk in the door, guess what you see? Fox News on their TV. All day long. From Charmin to Tucker Carlson. How do we, that's the problem. How do we how do you change brainwashed group of people that are still listening to the group that's brainwashed? You know, like today, for whatever reason, Fox News televised. And I think it's only because they got so much crap the last 3 days from every direction. And then
What did
they televised the hearing this week. And they did in the first one. And their excuse was, the first one was prime time. We couldn't take away policy and shot. In the morning, that's dead time. That's what I see is like, how do you reason with some of these people are not reasoning?
Ray, yes, exactly. But the one thing you can do is listen to understand, not to persuade or change. And I think that mellows people when you listen without an agenda. Even though you can feel in your heart that they're off base. I think when you listen, when people feel, I have changed my opinion. I've done well over 60,000 clinical hours in my lifetime.
Can't imagine.
And
I had 1,300 truck drivers, or 800, I'm sorry. They might have had that many hours. They didn't know.
I'm just saying that I don't think of my role any longer as a psychologist in the formal sense. I feel that what I'm trying to do is witness other people's lives, to bear human witness to their life. And if I can connect with them as a good listener to their life, they can trust in me, and we can establish a bond that hopefully will help them with their quality of life. But I've come to see myself, or think of myself, as just witnessing humanity, just bearing witness.
Well, we've witnessed a lot the last 6 years. I mean, you go back from when we grew up in Walter Concrete 1 hour a night.
Well, back then there was an emphasis on objectivity. That's been lost in the media. You know, I saw an ad about some program that's trying to bring an objective point of view to the news. Do you want to subscribe?
A good example is, look what Richard Nixon did, and it is in microscopic compared to what Donald Trump did. And look at what happened, and look at what is happening now. I mean, he is still, in spite of all these hearings, he's still saying the election is stolen from him. But the point I'm getting at is that couldn't have happened 40 years ago. Right? Because they didn't have Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity and everybody brainwashed. And then you got the rest of the Republicans, the two probably can't stand Donald Trump and want to go away, but they're afraid to because he's going to come out against them in a primary. So we got it's a big problem.
I don't disagree. The interesting thing is this is a blue dot in a red state. And this is a very red state.
Here.
Yeah.
Well, it hasn't always been totally red, because like my whole life we had a Democrat senator, a lot of times a Democrat governor. You know, Max Baucus was very close to Tim Holmes' dad. I mean, he was in our Senate forever. Became chairman of the Senate Finance Committee. And when I was doing my political stuff to American Trucking Association, you know, I rose up somewhat because of Max Baucus. You know, it's like I could get to him and nobody else could. You know.
Yeah.
But so now here we are with two Republican senators and a Republican governor. So today is very red, but it could swing back.
Could it?
It could swing back. But will it? As long as, how do we deprogram? Is that fair? Well, is that what you call it, a psychiatrist? If you got all these people, I say they're brainwashed. Maybe I'm being too strong. But how do you deprogram them and get them? You know, because you watch, because Trump right now is, I mean, he's being prosecuted. So, will anybody, and the time to watch it is Wyoming's primary, because their representatives, to everyone that understands what's going on, should be, she's a martyr, and she is,
Cheney.
yeah, she's doing it out of principle, you know, and a lot of, and she voted 95%, but the lady that's running against her, I'm very interested today because Trump's in the things Trump's head of his campaign really came out with how many times he met with Trump and said it's over, this is a lie, nonsense. And guess what he's doing for a living? Is running a representative against Cheney's campaign, who is talking that the election was stolen. And he's your campaign. So today he's on TV trashing Trump and jumping, and then in the daytime he's down there trashing Cheney. And if the election is stolen, they just can't find him. Who is this guy? Is he a bipolar trait?
Sounds calculated.
Well said, Brian.
I mean, think
It sounds like hypocrisy to me.
yeah, he was the star witness there. And when he wasn't there, he was supposed to be, his wife had an early delivery, and he had to go be at her side. But they had his deposition film, and he was there. The other guy who was there was past attorney general, and he just destroyed Trump. He's vindictive. I've never expected it. It's hard for me. The same way, he's now doing that. Look what he did to Emerald Belt. It's the guy that ran the probe in Trump forever, and he came on as attorney general.
Steele?
Not Steele. I can see his picture, and he came on and pretty much covered it all. Is how it went. You can see him, he's a tall guy. Went on for 2 years when they tried to impeach him. So he got this guy that's today trashing Trump, but he's the one that kept him from getting impeached when he was president.
So they're all staged.
I think, to your point, if
The
we,
sleazebag fight.
yeah, because these people have turned politics into a career. My first step in changing the whole thing is term limits.
Yeah.
I agree. And 80% of America agrees with that.
And yet,
When you see these senators, they can't even hardly speak anymore because they're 88 years old and running again.
or to Sherry's point, Supreme Court justices can barely remember their name, and yet they won't get it. In Maryland, our highest court is the circuit court, and there's one in each county. And you are obligated as a judge to retire at 70. Yep, you have to retire, but then you can come back and do absentee work.
And run for president 10 years later.
So they stay alive doing it, but they're obligated to retire at 70.
I don't think you should be able to run for president at over 70. I'm not quite there, but I'm getting close. And you got to be honest with yourself. You don't have the energy at 70 that you had at 50. And it's like at 78 or whatever, we had Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump, our current president, all too old to run for president.
I take naps. I take naps. And I didn't get the year for poetry because
You're a nap.
because
I didn't.
to your point, I get tired.
So, like, why can't we get to that? I mean, an airline pilot has to retire at 65. Why does a politician not have to retire at 70?
Why can't a politician do it as a calling as opposed to a professional career?
I think that's the problem, the professional.
You know, look at Pelosi. She's from Baltimore, and Baltimore is infamous for controlling precincts. And somebody pointed out, maybe it was you two, pointed out that Pelosi runs her minions like a mafia dog. And
Her
she
father
grew up in
was-
Baltimore, from an Italian neighborhood in Baltimore. She learned how.
Wasn't her dad connected?
I always used to say she was my most hated politician until Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But neither of them should be there anymore. They're too old.
Term limits, age limits.
So how do you get that to happen? Term limits, age limits. You know,
It has to be a groundswell of people.
the whole country wants that.
And you know what you do? Ray? You run on a platform of term limits.
I'm not
Ray
running.
Kuntz. A platform of term limits.
Yeah, in my next 3 years I'll do it. Because I turned 70 in 3 years. How'd you know that?
Well, you said you were be there soon.
No, that's the other problem. Good people won't run.
Well, that is, they'll be knocked down and.
Well, what the media does to their families. Would you
I
want
used to
would you
speak
want your
for-
family under that microscope? Your kids harassed?
Yeah.
If you can take a joke. So I used to speak quite a bit when I was chairman of the American Theater Association. And people would come up to me and say, you should run for Senate. Because I spoke for my art, and they said, why won't you do that? I says, because I've been divorced 3 times and I still like getting laid once in a while. Then Donald Trump came along and I mean, president.
You know, I'm gonna find you that they would cover stuff I don't even remember. And if they couldn't find that, they'd make something up, you know?
Well, that's the other
Yeah.
part, that you can say anything that you want.
Yeah.
You know, and it's up to the person to prove that
You
it
believe
didn't,
it or not.
that it didn't happen. You know, that's, I mean, what happened to honesty?
Look at all the women that came forward when Trump was running, and it all became like liars.
Yeah.
All of them. I mean, he just made those women just like, I don't know what the right word is. What would you describe it as a woman? What he did to them?
Well, he turned them on to liars.
None of them were liars. And everybody knew that women were liars. But they jumped on his side and listened to it anyway.
They were opportunists who tried to get ahead and failed.
Oh, that he was, yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
So he was the strong man because he survived that. All of those attacks on his character.
I think he infamously said one time, I could walk down Broadway and shoot somebody and get away with it.
Yes.
I think it was 44,000.
Oh, well, Ray,
Sorry, I keep bringing all this stuff up.
no, it's nice to meet you. And
I'm glad you guys did this. We love Tim and he's a very beautiful individual, and he was so excited about putting this together last summer. And he's a little ideological, you know, and I'm Joe businessman for magazine, that's what I've ever done. So we're as far apart as 2 people can be.
Yeah, but he needs that balance. Because I remember at one point when we were talking about going big, well, Skip wanted to go big. It was like, no, we're out of it. We all protested. And you know, it was small and perfect.
it really was.
What do we have, 30 people, 35 people?
And we made connections. You
Yeah.
know, when you put 30, 35 people in a fishbowl for 3 days, either they're going to get along or they're going to hate each other at the end. And they all got along.
Well, you were fairly crowded quarters up there at Tim's Studio.
Yeah, yeah,
And thank you for the B&B we stayed at.
yeah.
Or did you stay at my place?
So, well, they ended up saying it.
Yeah, we're
The one on
we're
308
other-
Jackson?
Yeah, it looked like a warehouse from the outside, and you go inside and it's beautiful. So thank
I
you.
used to stay there once in a while myself, but now that we're in Florida, I would stay there in the winter because we live out the lake. We have 400. I wish you could come out and see it. If you get washed
Where
up,
are you in Florida?
we're in the villages along the Rockwell Republic.
Oh.
No, and the villages is actually pretty impressive. We got 3 city centers in the village. Each one has a live band. It's a 2-piece band, like 7-piece for us, every 7 days a week. And then around the village center are restaurants, and then there's 150 rec centers and all kinds of stuff.
Well,
So it's just a place to be active.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah, no, we're
in fact, this kind of a group would do nuts down there. I mean, if you could figure out how to take away what you did here and get a chartered little group in the villages that have 500 people. Because they aren't all Republican crazies like you. They were good going to the villages at the today. It was like when I got done to see, and I go, well, what's that place in Florida where people fight with their golf carts?
This must be a fascinating discussion over here. You know, you've been live to the world. Did I mention that?
What's that?
You've been live streamed to the world.
Live stream, you didn't give our names, did you?
No, but if you told any family secrets or anything, it's all over the internet now.
As I say, hi, Mom.
Yeah.
Well, she kept her clothes on, so.
Yeah. Does anybody know what time it is?
I think it's time to go back and wind
Yeah,
up.
it's 8 o'clock.
10 to 8.
You know, it's early in California, these places with the high ceilings, open ventilation, people love these places.
There's something
I
about
think that's why they
the
do it. It just feels.
Because you should see how people pour it.
Yeah.
She has good food, though. That's part of it. Yeah.
It feels.
Well, I'm glad you guys got to share our other. We got the master bedroom and you got
We did. They came later, so they got
So you get to get woke up at 2 when the bar's closed and everyone's making noise.
We did hear some noise, just on the weekends. That wasn't bad.
They get to use the tub and the candles.
We haven't yet, but
Your last night tonight. Hopefully there's candles there. So that big mirror that we put up, take a look.
Yeah.
Get pretty romantic in here.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And you guys are staying in the other room?
Yeah, we found ourselves right across the street at this bed and breakfast that didn't even have breakfast. 5 adults, 1 bathroom.
Oh, really?
So who's staying in the other 2? Or is any of them? So we have 3 of them. And I think she had all, the other ones are a 3-bedroom, 3 beds.
Yeah, but that wasn't.
Well, it's down to the street on
Yeah, I don't know who's there. I'm just grateful that we had that other place to go to.
We're getting filmed.
filming?
Live stream.
I don't know. We'll probably get thrown in jail in the morning. We'll be arrested.
Oh, it's running.
Take my hair down for that. Yeah.
Well, nice to meet you guys.
Great.
VIP
Thank
on
you very much.
WHDLE.
Not that fast.
Absolutely.
That's my
I gave up
my
Susie for 3
alias.
days for this.
What's your
And he did. And we were the point. She's great. She's a wonderful person.
Well, Tim's a smart guy. He looks for skills that fit with his organizations and him. So,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
nice to meet you. And you too. I'm going to watch your,
Play.
yeah.
All right, do that. Let's see if I have a business card. Okay. That's me. Check the ads and drinks.
Do you have pictures? We're looking for a big
So, you guys are
big ones.
you guys are going to Butte tomorrow? Is that what you're doing? And
So we have a
you're
big
doing
one
well, I like going to Butte. Butte's cool. Butte,
Something
America.
like this would be amazing.
Seriously, Butte.
There's a lot
Yeah,
of
no,
color.
it was at one time the largest city in Montana. It's the richest. It's called. It's nicknamed the richest hill on earth. It's where the Copper Kings. It's where the Copper Kings made their fortune in the 1890s. Copper was.
Yeah, so like, tell her, we want a ribbon.
They did
We want
pit
to
mining.
out artists.
And there's literally a town that is buried next to Butte from what they took out of the pit. And yeah,
Ceramic
and
town,
she buried Walker. I
buried
think it was Walkerville.
black cabins,
Buried.
white
So you
cabins,
go and you
we
get the
want
history of it, and
all
the
the
School of
small
Mines is
boxes.
there, which is amazing. I mean, it's one of those schools, universities where if you're studying geology and mining, that's where you go to school. It's like, they have like 6 PhD students a year, right? It's small, but it is the place to go. And but Butte is the most unique town in Montana, by far. By far. Also, it is a big, Butte is just, I'm explaining, Ray and his daughter lives in Butte. I'm explaining they're going to Butte tomorrow. And so I'm like, Butte is just, it's lovable. It's the ugliest town in Montana, but it's just, you can't. It's
got a lot of history.
It's got a lot of history. And then they're going to go to Virginia City and Nevada City. And those
you gotta go.
Those are ghost towns.
You guys need to go to that play tomorrow night.
Right, the Follies.
Yeah.
Well, what night's tomorrow?
Not the Follies, the one that adult humor one.
Yeah, the Follies down in Virginia City, right?
Is it called Follies?
Yeah. And the hayback. If you guys go to the
so
hayback.
funny, you'd die laughing.
Oh, it is funny.
I don't know if it's still in.
It is. It's still there. It's called the Follies.
In Virginia City.
Virginia City.
There's like two a day, and they're like one at 4 and one
you
at
guys are going to
7.
Butte, and then you're going to go down to Virginia City and Nevada City. You might not go to Nevada City. You might just do Virginia City. And then you're going to go to White Lake.
Do you have a card?
I don't have a card, but I'd be happy to, if you give me your card, I'd be happy to email you.
Does Susie have your? Part of the reason I want, because I gave a commencement speech that people are asking for, and I want you guys to watch it, because then you'll get an idea who it is. Susie can send it to you, because it's on a YouTube video.
So I'm gonna write your name and
You got it right? Give you a teaser.
That was one of those.
do this for you.
That is my downtown. Downtown condo, I said, is our rate A 138. That, so 138. You're going to take
Right here.
the rate A 138. So I will fund it, and I want it to be big.
I know it has
That's how Tim wants it to roll. Wouldn't that be cool? 15, that's even better. But this right here where everybody in the sees it, and it's a legacy of it. Yep. It becomes this, And then we need to have a little thing on the bottom where it talks about it being early. You know, all that stuff is great. That's why the safety
The only thing we want is to mention that this conference brought the water mirror
And a little discussion on
Well, you guys think about it, because I can see a fairly worthy
So Tim says he told us yesterday that he's prepared to do it, but he was afraid to talk to you.
Well, it's because it's going to cost a lot of money. We need to have that, but you know what it is? I just want to. I'll tell you what it is. We did everything we could. I mean, we were in the past, we were in e-commerce, logistics were very good. We did a lot of stuff. We were going public and we wanted to think about it. So we have nothing to do. For 2 years. Yeah, but they didn't honor parts of my building. We had $20 million we never got it. We never gave them the trust. Five-year lawsuit. Which, fourth of that is one. So if this thing costs $200,000, I'm just going to but I will fund it. But he needs, Tim can't just build it for his costs. He needs to deliver it. You help me come up with a fair number so he doesn't try to start building.
That's right. Yeah, that's the important thing. That's what he chose to do.
No, I know. You know, Bob Fitzgerald, you met him, Mr. Sellers. That's awesome. Well, it's good stuff. Bob was on the film. But, you know, he never, they put Bob was a part of his band before that. And then Bob would sell sculptures and play. But it just, it wasn't needed to be picked. Like you talked about, how do you market the cake? There's a guy that has to be another. Bob, that never.
Yeah, it should have taken everywhere. So I understand that.
But we don't understand how you're trying to provide us with those buildings. Some of you need to know that. That's what you're doing.
Which was the last 2,000 years to the next 2,000 years.
In Butte. My son lives in Butte. Uptown Butte. My son lives in Butte.
Represents that. And so, once this is built,
Started at the University of South Carolina. Our station there. He started out in California. And I was in South Carolina. He was like, I'm never
Shut off the street. We have a band, we have pre-art, some ourselves. You know, we have dedicated to bring the scholarship.
exactly. When it's okay, we can get that.
We got a good product. Great to meet you.
We are about to close up this thing, so thank you for attending, and we will live stream the closing ceremony in about half an hour if you're interested in that. So come back then. Bye.